When you're talking about cancer and oncology, you really need to know what you're talking about, but often you need another opinion. These guys have actually made that so much easier using today's technology.
This next innovation promises to save lives globally, all from a suburban home here in Perth.
I'm a pathologist, and myself and a colleague called Cleve McGree decided that we would try and work up a different way of sharing pathology information to make it easier to provide a diagnosis and help to other pathologists all around the world. We're using technologies that are commonly used, things that people use every day for social media and other applications.
So essentially, all the technology was already there right under your nose.
Very much so, literally hidden in broad daylight, as simple as the phone in your pocket, which is an astounding bit of equipment. And we just thought if we start with that technology and work outwards, we'd be able to invent a workflow that got the knowledge out around the world. So in pathology, we spend our day usually traditionally looking down the microscope, and we look at glass slides with a bit of tissue on, and based on the appearance, we decide whether we think it's cancer or not, or some other disease. And the problem is that a glass slide is very difficult to share with another pathologist. If they're in another city or another country, it's very slow and almost impractical.
So this is some blood sample?
That's actually solid tissue, a biopsy from someone, in this case a biopsy of a lymph node, and we, by looking down at the microscope or at a digital image of that, can usually make a diagnosis about what's going on. But in many cases we do need help from another pathologist, and the challenge has always been how do we share the images when they are confined to a glass slide. So our innovation was to convert the image that we will normally see down the glass slide to a digital image and then share that with pathologists in our network. So I've just simply bought this adapter, slip the phone in, the adapter goes down the microscope, one of the barrels of the oculars, and flip the camera around. There you are. You're looking at the same image that I would look at if I was looking down the microscope. And this is how Cleve and I began the whole concept. We've got a case actually here. This was a case from Afghanistan, which was breast cancer, and the pathologist at the other end was fairly sure, but wanted a little bit of reassurance that they were on the right track. There's no doubt that in our mind that that's the diagnosis, so we've returned that opinion, and that'll give the clinician some confidence that it's been reviewed and the original diagnosis was correct.
So the remarkable thing about this innovation is, instead of that woman with breast cancer, potentially, waiting 3 months to get a diagnosis and her cancer has moved and grown, she's going to know instantly.
Hi, Dr. Firoz, how's it going today?
Thank you, and I hope you are also fine. And this is the patient that I have already sent you the slides. He is a 65 years old patient that last year he had a small, I think, tumor inside his finger, and the doctors did amputation last year. Unfortunately, he says that he has another mass in the axillary area, so I think it has metastasized to the axillary area.
We can have a look at the slides if you like.
Looks like a carcinoma with neuroendocrine differentiation, and I think that's probably the best fit for the diagnosis, yeah.
There's a lot of pathologists still are very affectionate about their microscope. Personally, I'm happy if it sits back in the corner and collects dust. Look, I think the future is digital, and soon enough, most pathologists will be looking at digital images.
DLS Pathology's workflow innovation is already saving lives around the world, helping doctors that don't have enough pathology support. It's truly inspirational and is the future for this area of medicine.